Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Tata Tiago with a boot. Sorry, this is the Tata Tigor Facelift. And before we start this video, let me share some useful information with you guys. Did you know that one major aspect that increases the on-road cost of your new car is the insurance you buy from the dealer? I would highly recommend you to get a quote for your new car from Acco Insurance on acco.com and save up to 50% because they don't charge any commission. It's completely online, very easy to purchase within a few minutes and involves zero paperwork. You can get the 3 years third party plus 1 year own damage insurance from Acco for the brand new Tata Tigor, which I'm reviewing today at a price as low as INR 13,352 plus GST. And back to the vlog. As you can see, the design of the Tigor has been given a facelift. But before that, let's open the engine bay because yes, the diesel engine, one second, why doesn't it open? There it opens. The diesel engine has vanished. It's a petrol engine. You can see it's rocking all over the place because 3 cylinders and of course there's insulation right there. Now the design of this car actually looks quite attractive because it obviously gets chrome and it looks bold as well. Meanwhile, I love the way this has been done, the chrome here. The lights are actually big enough, actually they're quite wide as such, and you get a projector setup but doesn't get LEDs, so everything is halogen here. Even the fog lights are halogen. A lot of design treatment on this car. Bumper is also aggressive. You get the TriStar Mercedes logo on the grille as well, but the main logo obviously happens to be from Tata Motors itself. Now from the front, it obviously looks like a Tiago. From the side also, it looks like a Tiago. Until and unless, of course, you come to the C-pillar of the car. The design isn't really very proportionate because it kind of looks like a notchback. Does not really flowing from there, but still doesn't look obnoxious like some of the cars in the segment. And of course, I'm talking about the car which started this whole trend of compact sedans. No, actually, it was Tata Motors who started the trend of compact sedans. But the car which actually made compact sedans popular was, of course, the one from Maruti known as the Dzire. Now the wheels on this car happen to be 175/60/15. Yeah, 175/60/15 is the size of the wheels. The tire profile is actually kind of on the lower side for a compact sedan, and this gets the dual tone treatment. So obviously on a darker color you can't really make out that the outside rear view mirrors are actually finished in gloss black. So is the roof of the car. The B pillar is also finished in gloss black, and you get the chrome line too. And there's chrome on the door handles as well. You get a request sensor here for keyless entry, but no request sensor on the other side. Coming to the rear of the car, the notchback design can be seen. Okay, the lights get the LED treatment and this honeycomb design as well. But we are searching for TriStars, aren't we? The Mercedes logo. Well, it is not there at the rear. Bumper gets a black finish to reduce the visual bulk. You get rear parking sensors. This is of course the reverse parking light. This is not the reverse parking light. Actually, you see the lights are different. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's a camera which has been neatly integrated, and there's a chrome line as well. Now, of course, where is the exhaust of the car? There it is on the right side. Now, I've done the smart thing of actually opening the boot because you have to turn on the car to open the boot. It's kind of electric. So yeah, that is again something which is kind of weird, but Tata Motors has done a smart thing with the way the boot mechanism works, so it doesn't really hinder space. There's decent amount of space on offer. In fact, it is big enough, but the loading lip is very much high. The spare wheel is not an alloy. In fact, it's a smaller size spare wheel. 175/65/14 is the size of the tire. Takes some effort to close the boot, but once done, you realize that boot carrying capacity is decent, but then it starts becoming very honky. It keeps honking whenever you have the key in your pocket and the car is on. Now, door pockets are actually decently sized at the rear, yeah. At the front, they are not. I love the treatment. The doors almost open 90 degrees. Push it a little further and Tata Ultros will enter the chat, or rather leave it. Okay, the TriStar is there on the seat as well. The seat is wide enough so 3 people can actually squeeze in, but I would not recommend that for obviously social distancing reasons. Okay, there's a small hump in the center. There's no rear AC vent. There's no charging socket at the rear, but there's a charging socket right here. Yeah, there's a charging socket right there. Now there's decent amount of legroom and knee room on offer. Under thigh support is also decent. Headroom is good enough. Okay, they've scooped this out, so headroom is good enough. There's a handle here. There's no hook. There's a handle again there. There's no hook as such, but there's a center armrest with twin cup holders. No adjustable headrest at the rear, but they've actually designed the headrest quite nicely. Not for the center passenger, of course, but the side ones will really appreciate it. There's a sense of airiness and feeling of spaciousness at the rear, which is actually a good thing. And there is actually storage space here where there's a sanitizer kept right now. Actually, I'm impressed with the legroom of this car, which is decent or actually quite good for a compact sedan. That is the dashboard design. Let's do one thing before we go. Okay, there's a light placement in the center, which is kind of cool, but the light is not bright enough. and the window area is also big enough, so it gives you the airy feeling. Let's quickly get to the front. Again, there it starts honking. It's kind of irritating. With all the Tata cars do that. Let's do one thing first. Things first. Let's turn off the air conditioning. Air conditioning off. It becomes so silent. Obviously, the horn is still on. Now, door pockets are actually small at the front. These are controls for the power windows. Chrome door handles. These are controls for the outside rear view mirrors. And the driver's seat gets the height adjust function, and you get the TriStar on the seat as well. You get a dead pedal right there, but a lot of exposed wiring somehow, and there is storage space here. Meanwhile, there is this chrome treatment which has been done everywhere around the AC vents, which actually looks quite cool and premium as well. And you get the gloss black finishing, you get the greige treatment for the dashboard, and yes, hard plastics in plenty. I love how it is to open the glove box. Just press this button and there the glove box opens. Now it's not really big, but there's another parcel shelf up, another compartment as such. There's a deep pocket here. There's a USB charging socket along with a 12-volt charging socket, twin cup holders, and it actually has a key sign there, which means the key has to be kept there. There's storage space here as well. Chrome treatment around the gear lever. These are the controls for the air conditioning. Unfortunately though, there's no display here, so the display actually comes here on the top for the air conditioning. Yeah, the display actually comes on the top. Now this is a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system. It gets Apple CarPlay, it also gets Android Auto connectivity, it gets a nice reverse parking camera, which actually is not very legit. I mean, visibility could have been better. Now let's get into neutral. This is the start engine stop button, which is actually big enough. The steering wheel gets audio controls, which is again nice. Voice commands, easy to press the horn. Yeah, that's very easy. Okay, sometimes I also get to press the horn, otherwise the car keeps honking itself when you're outside with the key. No auto dimming inside your view mirror. There is a mirror here, no light. There is no mirror or light on this side, and there's a paper which I don't want to read. There's a mic placement right there, and like the whole design of the dashboard is very appealing indeed. Now this infotainment system is slick enough. It gets 4 speakers and 4 tweeters. In fact, audio quality is also decent. Let's play an audio right away. Audio quality is actually quite nice for a car of this segment, without a doubt. Now these are the controls for the headlights. These are the controls for the wipers. The wipers work decently well. Decent amount of spray on offer. Now it gets an all digital instrument cluster, which isn't the easiest to read. It gets chrome inside, but you see this is a digital speedometer, and you get these bars on either side. Okay, this is for the tachometer, this is for the fuel meter, and this is for the temperature meter. Telltale lights are placed everywhere. Odometer, it is telling you the distance to empty right there. Instant fuel economy, gear position indicator, as well as a clock which is not showing the right time, and you can browse through this to get ambient temperature and how many days since it has been serviced or something of that sort. What is the average fuel efficiency of the car, and twin trip meters as well. So yeah, it is legit, but these bars don't really work for me because you can't really see much at night, specifically how much RPM you're moving at. But that's not very important. What's important is how is it to drive, because as a package, the Tigor is very strong. But is the engine good enough? Well, there's a tow receipt holder here. That was so random. Let's start driving. Another thing I forgot to tell you. Okay, this is to lock or unlock the car. This is the front fog light button, and this is to open the boot of the vehicle. However, the good part here is that the front seats are very comfortable and supportive as well. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning, getting it into manual mode. Yeah, it makes that sound. Nothing else to do. Left foot on the brake, hazard lights off, revving the motor, rev still, nothing, and off we go. Every time this car shifts again, you can feel it because it jerks a lot. But before that, let's talk about the engine. It's a 1.2 litre Revotron engine, which is a 3-cylinder engine, and you can feel the 3-cylinderness at idle because it kind of feels like a diesel in terms of vibrations and noise. But overall insulation is good inside the cabin. Outside you can obviously hear a lot more. Meanwhile, this car produces 83 PS of power and 113 Newton meters of torque, which comes in at 3,300 RPM. It comes with either a 5-speed manual gearbox or a 5-speed automatic, which is actually an AMT, which we are driving right now, which is in manual mode. Now, get into the gas, you see, acceleration isn't that great. The car feels kind of lethargic, and surprisingly, the drive modes are missing on this car. So they were earlier city as well as sport modes. None of them are here right now, and they obviously made a big difference. I don't know why Tata Motors actually removed it. That said, overall performance for the average buyer is more than adequate, but if you're looking for something with enthusiasm, this car just doesn't cut it in. Firstly, the motor becomes very stressed, higher up in the rev range, and kind of sounds like a mixie near the red line as well. The red line obviously comes in at 6,000 RPM. A lot of trucks making a lot of noise. We just want to shift to automatic mode so that I get a downshift quickly. You see, in manual mode, you have manual control of things to a certain extent because it will still upshift even if you decide not to do so. Meanwhile, it actually crawls ahead very nicely at stop-go traffic because it has a creep function, which obviously benefits in city drivability. But you know what? There is lag throughout the rev range. I mean, there are a lot of flat spots in this motor, due to which overall performance isn't that great, and it doesn't feel that enthusiastic engine. And that is the real problem of the Tiago and the Tigor, that the engine just doesn't have the get-go. And with the diesel discontinued, you kind of feel the lack of oomph even more because the diesel still covered up to a great extent. This one just doesn't do that. Alright, here you see there's a lot of judder somehow. It judders a lot hard onto the gas. Yeah, it sounds really stressed near the red line. So this engine is average at best, not really great, but does the job. Fuel efficiency is between 10 to 13 kilometers per liter, which honestly is respectable, but not really that great either. So while the engine is actually kind of disappointing, the chassis is not. Chassis is brilliant actually. The ride and handling balance is also good, but the steering is kind of on the lighter side. It's actually very light as such. Doesn't offer much feel or feedback, but still, you know, enough confidence for high speeds, because at high speeds the car remains stable. The suspension is very good on this car, but you know what? Because it's on the softer side and because of the tire profile also being on the smaller side, you know, at lower speeds you can feel a bit of rough roads inside, but at higher speeds it becomes better. Only thing is there's some amount of vertical movement, but for the most part it is quite well contained as well. But the steering is so light now, you can actually twirl the steering wheel with one hand. That is the level of lightness on offer. Now ground clearance is ample without a doubt, but the weight of this car is around 1000 kgs, slightly more than 1000 kgs, can go up to 30-40 kgs more depending on the variant. If it's an automatic, obviously it weighs more. Sun is right in our face, onto the gas, come on, give me power. The gearbox is actually the issue here, because this is a very laggy gearbox, an AMT, so obviously it has all the bad bits of an AMT, which is takes its own freaking sweet time to shift. And you know what, because it takes its own sweet time to shift, it just bogs down the car. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes almost 20 seconds, which is like light years, honestly. Yeah, you would be like, okay, this is going to sustain the, you know, aggressive launch, but then it hits the red line very fast indeed at 6000 rpm. And the AMT gearbox's issue is more pronounced when you're trying to drive pedal to the metal. If you drive it little bit easy going, then that issue is not that pronounced. It's still more manageable as such, because flat out acceleration is where this gearbox really shows its problems. But otherwise, part throttle, it does its job, shifts its gears without making you aware of what's exactly happening. Good thing is that the chassis balance is good enough for you to push the car like this. However, the steering really does not communicate much. Now the Tigor is available in 6 variants, 4 are for the manual and 2 are for the automatic. The price range starts at rupees 6.37 lakhs and goes all the way till 8.79 lakhs for the top end variant, which we are driving today, the top end automatic with, I think, dual tone color scheme as well. All the prices are of course on road Mumbai. You actually end up paying 58,000 more for the automatic when compared to the manual, which is fair play considering that it offers you the convenience of ease of driving. And honestly, the ease of driving is one of the reasons why you would want to buy the Tigor, because it's an easy car to drive, very well packaged, build quality is also good, and obviously easy to drive, easy to park. But the lack of diesel engine is something which is a glaring omission. I'll tell you why. Because the petrol engine isn't that good, and that's why you miss a diesel. Of course, the Desire also doesn't get a diesel anymore, but the diesel engine in the Desire was also very noisy. The petrol is very good indeed. Here, the diesel was better, the petrol isn't that great, and that's the reason why you tend to miss it even more here. I like the way the tachometer actually glows. There, hits the red line and it becomes red. Now it didn't do that in second gear, but it does it in first for sure. Feels a little bit more enthusiastic in first. Top speed of this car around 140 kilometers per hour, but it doesn't like going to the red line. It just feels suffocated, it just feels out of breath. And honestly, why does it even go to the red line? It should just upshift earlier, save more fuel, because we're not making any progress whatsoever. It's a slow car. It's not a car which will excite you, but then it's more towards the practical side. It's a car you buy with your head, not with your heart, and that is the case with most Tata cars as such, because it's more about practicality than outright fun. Now of course, a JTB version of this car was present, which I've already reviewed earlier. You can click somewhere here to see it. That was just something else, because it had that turbo whistle, it had that whine. It was entirely a different experience. Unfortunately, with the Tigor facelift, Tata hasn't made improvements to the engine. In fact, because of BS6 compliance, it's kind of dulled down the performance as well, but you really don't care about it much, because a compact sedan isn't going to really excite you, and the Tigor is no different. The only thing is that it offers stellar value for money. At this price, there's no other car which offers you this level of packaging, this level of practicality, storage, and overall comfort levels either. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why you would want to buy a Tigor, because it kind of blends a lot of practicality together in a beautiful package. You can actually feel the lag between shifts. It kind of rocks ahead and behind. Anyways, this is actually a small car. That's the reason why it gets a meager 35-liter fuel tank. That's smaller than the size of the bottle of water which I use every day to do the gym, and I don't even go to the gym. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? The ease of use is one of the major USPs of this car. In fact, look at this, the one finger test. I'm going to take a U-turn with one finger, and there it does it so easily. That's how light the steering wheel is. Everything seems fine until and unless you rev the motor and realize what is happening. The engine just doesn't cut it. It needs a turbo. Again, the turbo is also a 3-cylinder unit, but it is leaps and bounds better. It's obviously come in the Altros as well, but Tata should consider giving the Tigor also a new petrol engine, because the competition is really far ahead in terms of petrol engine refinement, performance, economy, and whatnot. Somehow Tata is better off with their diesel engine, and unfortunately the Tigor no longer has one. I can't make out any difference between manual mode and regular drive mode, honestly. Only thing is I get to change the gears. Here we're going to put it into 5th gear right now, and see, when I whack open the throttle, it's not going to do a downshift at all. Engine kind of struggles in higher gears, which means in order to make a quick overtake, well, even a Hero Honda Charisma will overtake you very swiftly, but in order to make a quick overtake, you need to downshift. Here we are into 3rd, motor becomes very, very, very vocal indeed. So guys, this is my vlog of the Tata Tigor Facelift. Unfortunately, it's just available with a petrol engine, and this is not an exciting car. It's practical, well packaged, but far from being exciting. But then compact sedans aren't supposed to be fun, right? Of course they are not, unless and until, of course, their name happens to be Ford Figo Aspire Diesel. Bye bye.